Right then, it's a quick walk-around video of a lovely Lexus. This is a IS300 Premier, finished in black with a full oaken beige, and I think it's got that river interior. Just coming up to 63,000 miles, with a lovely history attached to the car, and in very, very nice condition for what is now just coming up to 10 years old. So come around the car, front of the car, lovely front end on these, they're so well styled. Nice and clean, lights and lenses are clear and intact. So let's usually track the hedge cutting in the background, but I have to fight against it. So it's just rained and sort of speckled on there of water splash, but the bonnet's very clean. It's only the odd tiny little stone chip. Near side of the car, lovely and smooth in the panel work. In a recent video on one of these, I still think it's a car that could be launched today and still look incredibly fresh and modern. Aged absolutely beautifully. Again, fantastic. Looking around the back of the car, offside, driver's side. Again, lovely and smooth. It's very, very nice. It's not to say, I always say it, but it's perfectly true. It's a 10-year-old car. It's going to have the odd minor mark that the camera doesn't pick up on, but in essence, it is in fabulous condition. Empty boot area, good sized boots on the car, and as you expect of any Lexus, beautifully finished. In the little plastic bag, there's the little luggage net, by the way, which came with the car. It's coming with the back, lots of room. It's been kept absolutely beautifully. Leatherwork, fantastic in the car. In the front of the passenger side, again, really nice and clean. Footwell areas, very clean. As is the passenger seat there. Finally coming on the driver's side, door card again, lovely and clean. Footwell areas really nice. The driver's seat for a car of its age, it's obviously got wear, but it's very minor compared to most that I see. So inside the car now, engine is running as is always the case, so the dash can be seen illuminated. It looks absolutely fantastic. Sat nav, as you can see, working exactly as it should. Coming down the centre console, just looks absolutely fantastic. Comes with the main dash binnacle there. Hopefully you can see 62,966 miles. In eco and normal mode, that's the dash display that you normally see. Just twisted to the right, and you've got the sport dash there with the rev counter and red background. I'm told you can configure these differently. I've never worked out how. I'm sure if you go into settings you can do it, but it looks rather nice, doesn't it? Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS300 hybrid, and it's the executive model. Car's registered FE14WSJ, and mileage at the start of the road test is 62,967. The reason for all of our videos, and as I always say, especially this bit, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. And the reason we've always felt it important is because, like loads of people, we've been to see cars which will look absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out there's an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. And hence that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this absolutely lovely part of Gloucestershire. And this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is obviously that it be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you go on a test drive. So coming to the car, it's been very well looked after. Get in the car, press the power button, whirs silently into life. If you've never driven a Lexus hybrid, you're in for an absolute delight, because compared to virtually anything else in their class, especially with like turbo diesels, it's in a different world of refinement. There's also what is now referred to as a self-charging hybrid. The reason being, of course, that it is to differentiate it between cars you have to plug in to charge up the batteries. You don't with these, you don't run out of battery. You're just going to drive, own and run the car like any normal petrol car. So when you get low on fuel, you're going to rather smugly stand at the petrol pump for about 2 minutes, be on your way, and that's it. That's all you do. The batteries on the cars are relatively small, and they are recharged every time you back off the throttle pedal and hit the brake pedal on the car, and it always keeps it in the sweet spot the whole time. It's very, very efficient. But what is amazing, and it genuinely is the fact that you've got engine, gearbox and the hybrid system seamlessly interacting. It is engineering brilliance. It really, really is. And incredibly reliable over massive mileages. But it's the day-to-day, because all that would be well and good if the car was horrible to drive or clunky or loud. But it is so refined, so smooth. I've always said the thing that people, when they get in these cars, are amazed by, especially this sort of thing when they come to a stop, it seems unimportant. Normally you've got an automatic changing down the gears, and they can get a little bit confused, especially now. I'm going to put my foot down to go. There's no am I in second, am I in first, pull away. The CVT, the electric and hybrid, just works beautifully and smoothly. So town driving in particular, and heavy traffic driving, is so much quieter and smoother than this and anything else in its class. But then when you're on the move, it's got loads of performance. It picks up, goes. You've got the 3 engine modes: normal, eco and sports, which are self-explanatory. I've only ever really used eco mode in town driving. I find it blunts the performance too much on the open road for me. Generally 90% of my driving, normal mode is absolutely fine. But if you want to twist it to the right, sport mode, you can. It's definitely quicker. The throttle's quicker to respond. The gearbox responds more quickly as well, in the way it's programmed, but works superbly. Incidentally, no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge running at sort of a third to a half, which is exactly where it's meant to be on one of these vehicles. Engine then goes through to obviously the CVT gearbox, which is brilliant, by the way. Ignore the handful of road testers who just don't seem to understand that we mere mortals tend to drive cars like I am now. I'm trying to get the best out of it in economy, but without being overly sensitive. I'm enjoying my driving, but I'm not hoofing it and slamming the throttle down every 2 seconds. What they pick up on occasionally is the fact that CVTs, because it is a constantly variable, wants to keep the engine in its lowest revs at all time. But when you do put your foot down, the revs will flare up and the car kind of catches up. So if I put my foot down there, and you kind of catch up with it, but you're only doing it briefly if you're overtaking a tractor or trying to get past something very quickly, and it's not loud. It's exactly as it's meant to be. It is 99% of the time so much smoother and nicer than any other type of gearbox. I understand what they mean when you've got very small engines which are revving hard the whole time and don't have a lot of sound deadening, but this is so quiet. I've never, ever, ever in all my time in business had a single person say they thought that was loud. It isn't. Anyway, enough of that. Gearbox, of course, absolutely perfect. Coming to the steering and chassis, really nicely set up car. Rear wheel drive helps, of course. There's no drive shafts at the front to tug away at the steering wheel. The steering has that lovely setup where they've got the weighting absolutely perfect. It feels very confident on the road. The steering is quite quick, very accurate and precise. The car follows faithfully exactly where it's meant to go. The track's dead straight. Make sure I go on the right side of the road there. Track's dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. The suspension just wonderfully set up. I mean, again, it's quite a hard thing to do, is to basically get a car to sort of ride very comfortably but have precision, have balanced handling, and that's what Lexus have done. The handling is wonderfully sharp and agile, and yet when you're driving around, the suspension is beautifully judged, really nicely damped, very comfortable. and there are no rattles, clonks, anything coming from underneath the car. It's all absolutely as tight as a drum. Brakes on the car are fantastic, powerful, positive brake pedal, no pulsing, no vibrations, nothing at all. And then finally coming inside, and when magazines again and Motoring Press talk about build quality, what they normally talk about is funky sounding doors and squidgy plastics, and they think that's, because certain manufacturers are very good at doing that, I'm going to say. Lexus just get on with it quietly. The quality of the materials is absolutely superb. The build quality is extraordinary. It's 10 years old, or near as damn it. There's not a hint of a squeak or a rattle inside. They are beautifully bolted together cars. But more than that, it's a lovely place to sit. Most of its competitors feel 10 years old now. This feels fresh, still feels fresh, it still feels different, but in a way that not just for different sake. It works brilliantly well. You've got a high up sat nav, you've got separate controls, which I applaud Lexus for doing for your climate control system. You can do it through the screen if you want to via the little mouse thingy or rotary dial down here. But everything else, the detailing, the labelling, the quality of every button you press or anything slide with your finger is absolutely top drawer. But your eye just is pleased by what it sees in here. It's just beautifully done. You're in something, this is premium end of the market. And then the dash in front, classic Lexus in the way that they detail things absolutely beautifully in the major displays. It's a masterclass, it really is, and it's somewhere you feel still in this day and age very special sitting in the car. It feels something you'd want to brag or show off about to your friends. It's I am biased, of course. I absolutely love these interiors. As I said at the start of the video, the point, it's only brief, is literally just to show the car operating, feedback on any obvious issues. There's nothing. It drives absolutely perfectly. As always, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call.